example for us right now at this time.
Yeah, and then the other one was Prince Harry. And
the past life about Prince Harry. So let's hear about Prince Harry.
He had mentioned that when he is in Africa, he feels like he's at home. That he has an affinity there. He just feels peaceful there. And he's had several past lives in Africa.
Really?
And one of the most influential ones that he's utilizing in his current lifetime is that he was I guess you could say, he brought in the staple. He brought in food. That was his job.
Was he like a hunter?
A hunter. He was like a hunter and a protector of the village.
Was it a big village?
I get that it was pretty good size. It wasn't a small little tiny village in it, but it wasn't giant, huge. But I mean, the bravery that at that time, because it was pretty primitive.
Especially in Africa with lions and
tigers and bears.
Yeah,
they don't have bears.
Yeah, but no, seriously, lions and cheetahs and I mean, what courage! And it seems to me that he really has. I mean, he has that courage in his soul, but you can see it in this life. It seems, especially to take on a role like they're in.
But his brother, his job, his responsibility, and he took it, was to feed the people, and that was his job, and he took it. He didn't come back without something.
What could be more life and death, really, besides protection and food?
Yeah. So that was one of the things. And his totem in that lifetime was an elephant.
That's neat.
And he could communicate with the wildlife.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I could see that.
Yeah,
especially if it's something neat. That they're open. If you're open and believe something your whole life, it's right there.
He's very community minded. It seems I don't know what he's like now in this lifetime, but in that past life he was very much for the community, what people needed. He went around and made sure everybody was fed and everything was secure. And keeping the perimeter. Yeah, he was.
And it's awesome
the protector there.
To have a soul like that be in the position that he's in. So it's like we go through these past lives for that experience to bring into our significant ones that we're going to have later on in our soul schematic.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about earlier today.
Yeah. We
know where we're going in our full spectrum of the lives that we want to live eventually.
Yeah, and then he could go off into the jungle, and that was his meditation, that was his peace, that was his respite, right? That's where he would go to rejuvenate himself. And
actually, that sounds kind of really neat. Yeah. I mean, it sounds really meditative and connecting nature with deep inside.
And he knew where to go, where not to go. And if there was a situation, he took, he was able-bodied to take care of.
That's really neat.
Yeah, but it was like the animals respected him too.
Well, if he could, especially if he could communicate with them, in this, that's really neat.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat, I thought.
Wow.
Yeah, and I can just, it gives me chills, but I could see when he would bring in, what are those? It's like a big, oh God, I don't know the name of them, but they're kind of like they go in the water too. But
yak?
Is that Africa though?
No.
I don't think so. Is there a water buffalo?
Water buffalo, something like that.
Yeah, he would something that was substantial that could feed, a large amount of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't, sorry, I only have dates today. It was like he made sure and had something that was brought in. Wow. So yeah, it was a pretty. They pretty much were self-sustained. Everybody had a job, everybody did it, kind of thing. But also he was kind of like the sheriff, I don't know how else to say it, but if anybody got out of hand, he took care of it.
Wow, that's neat.
And he wasn't like royalty. He wasn't the king, or he wasn't the prince, or whatever they had there. He was a worker bee, but he brought himself up to that level of where the king,
I can see
trusted
that. That's really neat.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Exactly. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and then the third one that I was